Hi. Before I start, I need you to know this is not easy for me. I'm going to tell you some of my experiences. For me, these things are my whole life. The way I talk about the current system is to show you that as of yet these systems are not whole. Presenting today is a huge thing, a step in my recovery journey. I'm very nervous about this, and the things I want to tell you affect me massively, so bear with me if I struggle, please. What I've seen so far today, especially about the way things are in Trieste, well, that's what I'm fighting for. Okay, on to the first slide. Turn my page. So, hi, I'm Sarah Stanyon. I'm 26 years old. I was first involved with the mental health services at 15, and I've been given several diagnoses since then, predominantly post-traumatic stress disorder. I've had quite a lot of experience as a service user representative, and I think I've been involved in the learning set since about January this year. I have many experiences with service user involvement. Swansea University, the College of Human and Health Science, South Wales Police, PCSO's training as a HAVL expert patient presenter. I attended several consultations on the mental health measure, and last year, I think it was, I attended the RCN International Network of Psychiatric Nursing Research Conference and presented in a small part of a seminar there. I've attended several ABMU Whole Life, Whole Systems and Recovery learning sets, and I've been asked to present today on what I've learned as a service user involved in these learning sets. So why am I presenting today? To speak up for other service users and to show them they can be involved. To empower you in your involvement with service users in future, because what's discussed in these meetings first and foremost affects us as service users. So service user involvement is important throughout the whole process of these events. I want to help in the process of ending stigma towards mental health, and show people that just because I have a severe mental health issue, it doesn't mean I'm stupid or incapable. Obviously, because I was asked to prove to myself I can do this, and part of my recovery journey. So what does whole life, whole systems and recovery actually mean to me? I've broken it right down. So whole is self-explanatory. It means everything or all. Life, well, this is obviously from birth until death. Systems means the process or the way things work. And recovery is about becoming well or making achievements towards becoming well and to get over something. Put together, it's a long sentence. Put together, I take this to mean that the treatment of patients with a mental illness should be focused on the whole of a person from their birth to their death, being helped to recover using a wide variety of processes and methods that focus on the person as a whole and in all areas of their life. Society suggests... I'll put my slides up first. Society suggests that once someone becomes mentally ill, there's no hope for this person, that they will remain ill for the rest of their lives. And this means they probably won't work or go very far in life. At 26, I don't really want to believe my life is over just because I've been unwell. Recovery gives me a little hope, but this process isn't always easy. With the stigma of today's society, recovery sometimes even seems impossible. This stigma ruins lives more than the mental health issues they suffer from. And this stigma needs to be eradicated, and I believe speaking out about my experiences is one way to help this happen. So this is why I'm involved in service user involvement projects and opportunities, and part of why I'm speaking to you today. Breathe again. Relapse. Recovery is a journey and a process that happens in stages. This includes relapses and sometimes taking steps backwards. Some people would say if I'd reached some of my life goals, I am recovered, but there is more to recovery than this. I like the term whole life, whole systems, as it's holistic, which is incredibly important for someone who has mental health issues. There is more than one area of life that is affected by mental illness, and achievements in one life area doesn't mean you are fully recovered. Relapses mean some processes in becoming well become unimportant and other issues more so. These relapses can occur after someone being seemingly well for a long period of time, because this is what mental illness is like. Meaning in some ways recovery isn't quite the right term. It is far better to work towards coping with your illness than aim to be fully recovered, because you might never get there. In the next slide, I've given an example of why a holistic approach is very important and how sometimes the word recovery doesn't quite work. This is an example of how important it is to focus on all aspects of a person's life, and how recovery, in my eyes, is a perspective process. This example also shows how important it is to look at a person's recovery from the point of view of all people involved in their lives. This is a hypothetical situation. My medication has been stable for a year. I've been attending all my psychiatrist appointments, and I've been discharged from counselling. So from a medical view, I suppose I'd be seen as recovered. But my friends know that I'm not eating, I'm constantly having panic attacks and hardly go out. They would say I'm still very unwell. I'm also getting picked up every weekend by the police for being drunk in a public place. The police also view me as being unwell. The staff at the day centre I go to also know I self-harmed a few days ago, so am I really doing okay? I also have one day every year, an anniversary of a horrific occasion, which I cannot cope with, and this will stay the same for the rest of my life. As far as I'm concerned, I sometimes think, if I wasn't alive, people would be better off without me. Just because medically I'm meeting my requirements, does this actually mean I'm recovered? There is a desperate need for changing our services, especially in the ABMU and probably nationwide, if not worldwide. The models I have heard about seem to be very positive in relation to a way to change. Experiences of myself and other people who have used mental health services have been very negative, and on the next few slides this is what I'll talk about. Some of the experiences I've listed here I've experienced myself. Others are the experiences of other service users that I've spoken to and worked with. I'm sure none of these come as a surprise to you, and I feel sad to have to express these opinions, but this is the real face of our services at the moment. Can't turn the page. Okay. The results of the experiences, I'll get my slides up again. The results of the experiences on the previous slides has left a lot of people with little hope in services. Several people are angry and some service users become severely unwell before seeking the help they need. There are people afraid to ask for help due to the fear of being told no. People are being hospitalised in areas far from home. The patients on the wards are losing hope in recovery and are leaving the wards still quite severely unwell. This means there are few role models of people getting better on the wards. This affects some people very negatively and often results in people leaving the wards and returning soon after. Shaking now. There are few service users involved in involvement opportunities due to a lack of faith in the services and doubts that any changes will make a difference. When attempting to take new ideas back to the service, I've had people tell me I'm deluded, brainwashed, and that I'm being fed lies that nobody else believes. The few service users who do get involved feel overwhelmed due to the sheer demand once volunteering for these projects and will drop out. This leads to further fear of change and a lot of anger. The result of these issues has led to the suicides and deaths of many fellow service users. And this is something that's affected me greatly over the last few years. Our services are currently failing far too many people. And personally, I feel... I've lost half my writing. And personally... it's because of this personally that I'm working for change. I think that's what I was meant to say. So this is my personal experience of mental health services. I was taken under the CAMS services at 15. This felt like a very positive support, but at 18 I was discharged from CAMS. I was left without any support. I took myself off my medication, and after several suicide attempts, I was taken under adult services. This was almost a year after being discharged from CAMS. At 19, I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, depression and anxiety. I was also labelled as misusing drugs, but considering I hardly touched drugs, this was an unfair thing to be put on my records, and this still affects me today. My appointments were few and far between, and I felt like I wasn't really being helped. When attempting to apply for university, I was discouraged and strongly told my parents were responsible for my decisions until I was 21. This was not confirmed to them, but all responsibility for my care was assumed to be being carried out by them, leaving me being told I didn't require help from mental health services other than seeing a psychiatrist every 3 to 6 months. At 20, I was so unwell and seriously struggling with self-harming, so I took myself away to Sheffield to a religious residential home for help. This place was not supported by any professional services and in fact made me more unwell. They left me homeless, hearing voices, doubting reality and trusting no one. Being homeless in Sheffield entitled me to help from the mental health services, and these interactions were positive, but I had to move back to Swansea in the end. I moved back to Sheffield again because I was refused any support from the mental health services in Swansea and felt I could get better support in Sheffield. While I was there, the voices told me to commit suicide, and as a result, I broke my back. This meant, once again, I was returned to Swansea. For 9 months, I saw nobody from secondary services. I begged for help in hysterics and got turned away. At this point, I turned to the third sector services. The support I received and continue to receive from these services is genuinely the main reason I am still here and presenting today. From then till now, I've been in and out of hospital. The service I have received has been minimalistic, judgmental and unsupportive. I've not been helped to understand my past or my current situations. I've been abused and blackmailed in a hospital setting. I have observed many situations in these settings involving other patients that just should not be happening. It is these experiences that make me believe change is vital. I've learned so much in the attendance of these learning sets. The first thing I learned is that the people I've been working alongside, despite having big titles and potentially lots of influence on my life if I needed their service, they are just human beings with feelings and emotions just like me. The most important thing I have learned is that we desperately need a change here in the ABMU, and that everyone knows this. I know that the professionals, alongside the service users, are becoming disillusioned and burnt out. Statistics about the ABMU puts us in a bad place with regards to treatment and care. This could be a great opportunity to turn things around. There has been mention and discussion of other models working with mental health patients in Copenhagen and Trieste and other places over the last few days as well. From what I've learned about these whole life, whole system and recovery focused models, things work far better for everyone. These are a few topics we've discussed in our learning sets, and these discussions have been vital in the process of changing our mindsets and feelings towards the system as it stands. There is so much more that needs discussing, and many of these discussion points will be raised over and over until there is a change in the way our system is run. Nearly there. Being involved in these learning sets has given me a little hope that change is coming, that people are aware change needs to happen and that are working hard to make this happen. I have been given the opportunity to make things work for the people around me. I have some responsibility and something to work towards. I've gained some confidence in the services. I've been made to feel valued and have been encouraged to speak out about my experiences. I have gained self-confidence and a sense of achievement. What now? Oops. What I've heard about the way these models work and the plan to implement some of the workings of these models into our health board seems like a very positive idea. However, there is some scepticism. It's clear things can't continue as they are, and we are in desperate need of a change of how things work. Lives are at stake, and these changes need to be made slowly with lots of thought and testing before anything is set in stone. A lot more research is required. More service user involvement is key, and running these plans for change past the service users before any changes are made is vital to get them on board. We need a change of mindset, and until this happens, nothing will improve. It's about taking risks. As a health board and as individuals, we need to find hope again. It isn't going to be comfortable, but nothing helpful really ever is. Will you help? Search deep and find your hope. Believe that change needs to happen and trust that this change can happen. Believe in recovery. Don't give up at the first hurdle. Change needs radical people with radical ideas. Help us collaboratively to learn to share our ideas and make the services around our world equal and positive for all who use them, and keep on fighting for recovery. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Sarah. For me, as the Chief Exec of ABMU, it's pretty hard to listen to that, and I have to say I'm ashamed of the way that our services have let Sarah down, and no doubt others as well. What I do cling on to is that last message that she left up here. Hope is important to everyone, isn't it? And hope is important in people's personal recovery journey, but I think it's equally important when you're looking at organisations and institutions too. And I think Sarah very generously reflects on the fact that people working in services, just as people using them, are human beings. And changes from habits and existing methods is a journey for everyone. So I thought that gave us a chance to reflect on a personal recovery journey, but also a recovery journey for an organisation and a set of services too, and those two things are highly linked. For me, one of the things that is most generous about Sarah and other people, other users of our service who've been involved in this with us, is not only are they giving their energy to their own journey of recovery, but they're generously giving their energy to us too, and I'm very, very grateful for that.